Hello and welcome to our channel. Today we're talking about a topic that has been explored in literature, film, and other forms of storytelling for centuries: the fear of death. It is the one thing that we all have in common, yet it is something that we all dread. The fear of death is something that has been explored in many different ways, from ancient Greek myths to modern-day horror films. But why is it that we are so afraid of death? What is it about this final act that strikes such fear in our hearts? Today we're going to take a closer look at why it is that we are so afraid. The fear of death is rooted in our innate desire to survive. From the moment we are born, we are wired to survive. We instinctively know that death is the end of our existence, and that thought is terrifying. We cling to life with all our might, and the thought of our own mortality is something that we simply cannot accept. But it is not just our own mortality that scares us, it is the thought of losing those we love. The fear of death is not just about our own end, but about the end of those we hold dear. This fear is not limited to the living. In many stories, death is personified as a figure, often portrayed as a grim reaper or other ominous figure. This representation of death as a being is a way for us to externalize our fear, to make it something tangible that we can grapple with. But this figure is not just a physical representation of death, it is also a symbol of our fear. The Grim Reaper is a reminder of our own mortality and the end that awaits us all. In literature and film, the fear of death is often explored through the eyes of the characters. In The Death of Ivan Ilyich by Leo Tolstoy, the protagonist faces his own mortality and grapples with the fear of death. The story is a powerful exploration of the fear of death and the way it can consume us. Similarly, in The Book Thief by Markus Zusak, the characters are faced with the horror of death during World War II. The story explores the fear of death on a grand scale, as the characters are forced to confront their own mortality amidst the chaos of war. In horror films, the fear of death is often used as a tool to scare audiences. The genre is built around the idea of death and the unknown, and the fear of death is a key component. But it is not just the death of the characters that scares us, it is the way in which they die. The unknown, the unexpected, and the gruesome are all elements that contribute to our fear of death in horror films. The fear of death is also explored in more subtle ways in storytelling. In The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, the protagonist Holden Caulfield is faced with the death of a loved one, and the story explores the way in which death can change a person. Similarly, in To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, the characters are faced with the death of innocence and the loss of childhood. These stories explore the fear of death on a more personal level, and they remind us that death is not just about the end of life, but about the end of everything we know. In conclusion, the fear of death is a universal fear that has been explored in storytelling for centuries. It is a fear that is rooted in our innate desire to survive and the fear of losing those we love. The fear of death is not just about the end of life, but about the end of everything we know. But it is through stories that we can explore and understand our fear of death, and in doing so, we can come to accept it as a natural part of life. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content like this.